Music. I have to wait for the music to dance.
Cashmaniacs.
GeoGearHeads.
Welcome to the GeoGearHeads. Tonight, on episode 162, we'll be talking about topics that you, our faithful listeners, have shared with us, plus a few juicy tidbits of our own. Now, I'm the bad cop, and I'm here with the ever-generous Daryl W4. Now, Daryl, can you tell us why you are so generous?
You know, I wish I knew, and I wish I were that generous. But really, I think what you're talking about is the generosity of our sponsors for our prizes, like coinsandpins.com, who sponsored last week's prize, which was given away to one lucky listener, whom I know picked a couple of the state flags. But we've got a couple of guests with us, so let's introduce them before we get into that. And we'll start off with a man who was able to bribe the Michelin Quest judges. That's the Doc. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, yes, thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Chris. I didn't bribe them. I'll come out cleaner at that. I won fair and square with a lot of hard work. So thanks for joining me.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. But since the other geocachers, the hard work on the show and everything, I think, can be considered bribing them.
Okay.
We'll say that you bribed the judges for the purpose of this show.
There you go.
And then returning as well is Dave DeBear, back from his much celebrated visit to another show that records right after us. So welcome back, and what show was that?
That was the GeoSnippets Reboot podcast. They're just celebrating their 100th episode, and I was a co-host on that in the original days, so it was good to be back there and reminisce some good times, but it's good to be here as well.
Well, we're glad to have you back. You know, once you're here, why would you ever go back to that other show?
Ooh.
Oh, you know, it's good to keep your options open.
Exactly.
I listened to all of the English-speaking geocaching podcasts, and I don't know how I find the time, to be honest. But let's get to the question, because I think everyone wants to know who won that prize, and you know, we know already that it was a couple of those state flag tags, but it's a little bit different kind of question that a lot of people had problems with. So, Justin, why don't you tell us what that question was, since you actually answered the question before you even knew you were going to be on?
Yes, I did, didn't I? Well, the question was, what is the designation of the latest version of the GLONASS satellites? And that is the GLONASS K.
Indeed, and that gave people a little bit of trouble. But Dave, who is the person that's grabbing two of those state trackable tags?
The lucky winner tonight is a fish out of water.
Whom it's not her first time. And
Yeah,
she's actually a local cacher, so I actually get to pass it off. See, but you know what? We didn't have a whole lot of people that actually figured that one out. That gave people a lot of trouble this week.
Well, you know, I
think both of you guys got it right.
I got it wrong the first time. Because I think there's like two designations. So I was chastised the first time, but I got it right the second time.
Yes,
you were
sternly
nudged
warned that
in
you
the
submitted
proper
the
direction.
wrong answer.
No,
Well, and there were some really interesting things popping up that I wasn't able to find when I had done some research on the question earlier. So I think this is one of those Russian things where the answer finds you, you don't find the answer. But tonight we are going to have a live question as well, because you know what? It's a randomized show, and we like to do that. You know, so we're going to make it easy and give everyone the answer in honor of our guest tonight. But you're playing for one of those really, really, really cool nocturnal geocoins from coinsandpins.com.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're watching live right now, you want to get the email started to geogearheads@cashmaniacs.com. Give it the subject Randomize 31, and in that body, make sure you put the answer to the question, what was the hashtag for the recent Michelin photo contest? And of course, Justin, since you're the winner, we'll have you tell us what that answer was.
Yeah, that's engraved in my brain forever as I was hashtagging all the time. That was Michelin Quest.
Indeed it was. So send that email to geogearheads@cashmaniacs.com, subject randomize 31, and include that answer, which I'm not going to say again, even though it's on screen, with your geocaching.com screen name, and that has to be to us within the next 25 minutes. That's 9:45 p.m. Eastern, 6:45 p.m. Pacific, and you have a chance to win that really, really cool coin, and you have to email us when we call your name, so make sure to listen through the end of the show, live, of course, and we'll find out a lot more about other things throughout the show that I'm sure you'll enjoy sticking around for anyway. Now, Dave, I know that our good buddy over here, Justin's going to be going on a nice little trip that he doesn't have to pay for, but you're going to be going on a little trip this summer that you kind of want other people to attend.
Yeah, it's actually on Memorial Day weekend, which for people not in the States is May 23rd. And it's to Geo Woodstock, which is the largest mega event in North America. And this year, they're trying to have a push to go giga. So if you're not familiar, Mega is 500 attendees or more. Giga is 5,000 attendees or more. There's only ever been one Giga in the world. That was in Germany last year, never in North America. I'm hoping that with all you folks help out there, we can actually get Geo Woodstock to go Giga this year. But to do that, they need a certain number of will attends fairly quickly before Groundspeak will switch the designation from Mega to Giga. So if you're planning on attending, if you're thinking about attending, if you if you would say I would go to that if it's a Giga, head over to the geowoodstock.com, and from there you can link to the event description and on geocaching.com, and post a will attend for you and a separate one for everyone in your party, because numbers matter in this. And then also while you're at geowoodstock.com, put in your registration for the event, which they have a free option, so it doesn't cost any money, but they also have registration packages where you can get swag and stuff at decent prices. But together we can make this happen, and so please, if you're going to think at all going, please go. So you know, Geo Woodstock will be held in Boonesboro, Maryland, which is right in the middle of the state, right near several Civil War battlefields, on May 23rd. It's fairly accessible to a large part of the eastern seaboard, which is why I think they have a chance to go Giga this year, because it's a 6-hour drive from New York, it's a half-an-hour drive from Washington, it's a 4-hour drive from Pennsylvania. So there's a huge population center that's within a day's drive. And I know people from Canada are going. I know people from Georgia are going. Apparently, somebody from Minnesota is going. Actually, maybe you're not, but you should. I will see you there. Come, join us. So if you are going, please register sooner than later, so we can hopefully get this thing into a Giga and make some geocaching history.
And for everyone who is going, we're going to have them on the show in March with a lot of tips. Unfortunately, I don't think anyone on the show right now, aside from you, Dave, was going to get to go out there this year.
That makes me sad, but I'll represent.
Sad too. I was really looking forward to it, spending a full week out there so I could go and do, well, not at the mega event, but at the virtuals, because it's so many virtuals down in Washington, D.C., that you can spend days and not get them all.
I have done that, actually, spent days and not got them all.
Ah, very good. Well, maybe later on we'll talk about that.
There's also, right nearby is a geocaching gadget trail by WV Tim, which is one of the premier gadget cache hiders. So I think an hour or two away from the site is a whole bunch of his caches, which are, I've not actually done his caches before, but I've seen some of the stuff on YouTube, and they look to be caches that you do not want to miss. So load up on favorite points if you're going to go.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Let's move on, though, to a question that was emailed to us from Misha. And Misha asked, how can you delete many saved filtered searches on GSAC at once? Well, I didn't know the answer, and I don't know that any of us on the panel know the answer. Quick show of hands. Anyone know the answer? And since you're listening on audio, that doesn't mean much to you. But
I shook my head as loudly as I could.
Yeah, as did I.
we have marbles loose, but they're not that loud. So, in any case, I did ask XPunkX, and he said there is not, and there's no easy, quick way to do this at a rate of more than one at a time. So you do have to go and do those one at a time, unfortunately.
Well, Dave, I need to make one correction to
What's
your
that?
distance from Geo Woodstock. You said Washington was only a 4-hour drive away, and that's not true. I think you're thinking of Washington, D.C.,
Yes.
maybe only 4 hours away. The D.C., that's important out here.
Well, 4 hours by flight for you, I think, is.
That's about the same, yeah. But I'm not driving the plane.
This is true.
The
And we're all
people on
thankful
the
for that.
plane, I drive crazy, but not the plane itself. Trust me, you'll hear stories. Now, we have more email, this time from Patient Rock, which sounds like music they play in doctor's waiting room, doesn't it? Now from another selection of Patient Rock.
Patient rock.
Yeah.
Patient soft rock.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking that was like the satellite radio station.
Oh, Patient Rock. Because it takes a long time to get the song to play?
No,
be
because you have
patient?
to have the patience to listen to the rock that they're playing.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. Be that as it may, there's a geocacher named Patient Rock who says, I have helped move many trackables along on their journey, but only recently sent off the first trackable of my own. It has already been a lot of fun to see it travel from state to state, and thankfully everyone who's picked it up so far has been good about keeping it moving. My question is, are you all aware of any software or website that can visualize a trackable's journey? Something that can scrape a trackable's visits to various caches and display where it was dropped and retrieved? Would be very cool to see its path from start to finish drawn on a big map. I'm not aware of anything like that, but I figured you tech-minded cachers, or perhaps your listeners who, the GeoGearhead listeners know so many things, might know of such a thing. So, gentlemen, I'll throw the question out to you. Do you know anything that would do this?
I know nothing. I'm completely no. The first thing that
I was going to say,
popped in
you
my
sound like a
head when
German guard from a certain sitcom in the 60s.
Yeah, but I didn't have the right inflection on it.
Okay.
The first thing to mind when I got this was, what about the View in Google Earth link on the trackable page? And sure enough, they hadn't heard about that, and that's exactly what they wanted, so it was a quick, easy answer for that one. But there are some other options. One of them is the GeoTribes, which is GeoTrib.es site, and that one will do some of this kind of stuff. Dave, I know you're big into trackables. Do you have any sites or anything that you like to use?
No, actually yes, but typically if you're looking for mapping and you're not looking at Google Earth, you're probably looking at the wrong place. At least in my experience. But on the trackable description page, just above where the logs start, there is a link that says. Actually, I forget exactly what the link says, but it's basically a link to a map, and it'll bring up a map page that'll show where the cache has been, and each waypoint is actually numbered, so you can easily correlate that waypoint with the log. I've typically used that. I actually didn't know about Google Earth, which is kind of funny because it's actually more prominent on the page for the trackables. But I checked that out as well once I saw this in the show notes, and that makes a really nice map as well. I was properly impressed. It gives you a KML file, which if you don't know is just kind of a formatted text file of all the information, kind of similar to what a pocket query is. So you can use that and import it into any numerous number of mapping programs, or use all the data will be in there if you want to do some fancy computer trickery to extract that data into something else that might be useful. But Google Earth. Another thing about Google Earth, actually, while I'm tangenting here, Google Earth Pro is now free for everybody. So it used to be a paid product, and now it is now free. So go over to GoogleEarth.com, I suppose, and download that. It has more features, some of which are useful for cachers, some of which aren't, but they're there, so you may as well take advantage of it.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention that. Kind of a nice segue. Justin, do you have anything that you do for trackables?
The GeoTribe site, I do use that. I have an account, And my question, Dave answered my question. I was wondering if the Google Earth and the Google Maps actually numbered the different waypoints, and it sounds like it does. GeoTribes, I don't recall if they do or not, and it'd be nice to see that feature for sure. Yeah, I do like GeoTribes. It does a lot of different neat things. Most current move trackable and that kind of thing. So it's pretty neat to see.
All right.
Interesting. I like that information.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff out there for trackables, and I'm sure we're going to see some more cool stuff coming. But whenever I go into the Google Earth on any of my trackables at the top of my list, it's insane because I can't even try to follow it. It takes forever doing the fly-through tour, so I always just quit, and that was enough of that. All right, now shall we move on? And Chris, I think you want to take this one.
Well, I like the idea. Here's an article from Engadget that says Energizer makes high-performance batteries from your recycled cells. Now, how cool is that? So, disposable batteries that could help reduce the mountains of e-waste that people create every day. It's called Eco Advanced. It's the first high-performance alkaline battery to be made partly from recycled cells. About 4% of the power pack comes from old batteries that have been turned into, are you ready for marketing speak, the active ingredient. So I think that's a great idea. I mean, how many, as geocachers, how many batteries do we throw away or, properly recycle, I should say, as we go through these things, and, at least you can get something out of them.
Yeah, it was not clear to me from the article. Does it do any sort of disposable batteries, or do they have to be high-performance batteries to begin with to get recycled into new high-performance batteries?
It doesn't say what they came from, but they are a new high-performance battery that is being produced out of the old cells. So, now I know with some of the lithium-ion cells, when those things are dead, especially what are in some of the new cars, there's not enough product left in the battery to properly recycle it and make something useful out of it. So, but these are alkalines, so there's a little more residual leftovers, bits and pieces left, shall we say, compared to lithium-ion, which really consumes the majority of anything useful in that battery.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing to go and look at, though.
Yeah.
And if you go to the product page right now, which of course we'll link to in the show notes, there's a $3 off coupon.
Ooh.
I missed that. I was looking at that. Now I got to get me a coupon.
Yeah.
Love
I'm
me
thinking
$3
it's
off.
worth trying them just, at $3 off, see what they're like, and it's recycled, feel a little bit good about yourself.
Exactly.
I have a question for you. The batteries too. Where do you recycle batteries like that?
In my case, I take them to the municipal recycling center, but a lot of electronic stores will have the bins, and even some of the big box stores, the big nasty ones that you try to avoid.
The blue one, I know.
I think I know. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Which
so
stores?
one of them I think is right out by you. The other one is down south a little bit. But yeah, a lot of them will even have those.
Now, isn't everything in the Radio Shacks about to be recycled?
Yeah, everything is, yes.
Yeah.
But the question is to whom?
Yeah, that's a good question. Did you hear Amazon's looking at putting up some physical stores, perhaps, in some of the old Radio Shack locations?
Yes, we
Really?
have.
Mm-hmm.
One of the many rumors, and I don't know how much to believe of what of those.
That'd be hard. How do you put a warehouse in a Radio Shack?
Well,
they're talking. They want it to just be more like a touchy-feely kind of center. So probably the
Someplace-
in-store pickup kind of stuff. Shipped from the warehouse, and then someplace to go when you go. My Kindle doesn't work.
I guess also get some hands-on with the Kindle Fire and stuff like that, because, they could use that
Plus, you
marketing.
can go and take the Kindle phone because it can't do anything.
You just went there. Well, there goes our Amazon sponsorship.
All right. Well, talking about other new gadgets, and yes,
Really?
Engadget wrote about the 3 new Garmin watches, smartwatches, that we'll put into our show notes, and they basically have the Vivo Active, the Phoenix 3, and the Epix, which are all GPS-enabled smartwatch kind of things. For cachers, the Phoenix 3 and the Epix are the ones that you're going to want to take a look at. And what makes the Epix most interesting is that it actually has the ability to put maps on there. So that could be pretty cool, but none of these actually support geocaching.
No. But it will
So,
keep
shall we
track
move
of
on?
your geocaching journeys. Those
Yeah.
epic journeys.
Yeah, but they don't natively support caching or anything. So I'm thinking we should
Yeah,
ignore
so
it
what's
and
the
move on.
what's the point then at that point?
Yeah, why make a watch that doesn't do geocaching?
Yeah, you'd probably be better off getting a proper smartwatch and running. Apparently, CGO runs on smartwatches now.
Yeah,
I haven't tried it out yet, but I've heard some
Yeah.
people have success with it.
Yeah, there's CGO and CacheSense both will work with the Android watches,
Oh,
and
cool.
then there's some stuff to make them work on the Pebble watches as well. So the one that was recommended by Nighthawk 700, and I don't think he actually has a Pebble watch, he just heard about it and referred it to us, is Skink GPS, and it's a companion app for the Pebble. So you have to have the app on the Pebble and on your phone, but then the Android phone provides the basic management for the tracks, the waypoints, and you can export tracks into KML or GPX formats, and then import and export those so you can use the watch then to do the navigation. And that's just one of them. There was another one I found that I never really heard much about. Okay, and before we move on too much, we've got a question from Limax, who wanted to know how these differ from fitness trackers. And he's referring, I'm sure, to the Garmin stuff,
To
since
the
there is
Garmin
a
smartwatches.
nasty delay. Yeah, the Vivo Active is basically just a fitness tracker. The Phoenix is a little bit better as far as capabilities go. That's actually meant for like a full watch as well as being the fitness tracker. And the Epix is more a replacement for the light GPS usage you might have on the trail, plus all of the other cool things that smartwatches can do.
So yeah, the article says they're equal parts, or the high-end ones there are equal parts smartwatch and fitness tracker. So they have some intelligence behind them. Basically a fitness tracker, but they can do some more. So Daryl, I'm drawing a blank. What is the name of Garmin's current wearable GPS tech?
Well, they do have the Phoenix already. That's
Okay.
Rehashed, and you're probably thinking of the Forerunner, which was
That's
the
it.
unit that they've had for, it seems like, a century.
Mm-hmm.
It's started out as a big like brick that you strap to your wrist and keeps getting smaller. That really has been a favorite of the running community because it does do the GPS. It talks with a heart rate monitor and all of that kind of good stuff. It even connects to my bike with the cadence and speed sensors.
Okay. So there you go. I'm sure it does all that and more. The article that I read didn't give a lot of detail of what these watches will have.
No,
But,
but we'll have the detail on the product links, which will be in the show notes too.
Do you guys know if these will sync up to like smartphones to get like email notifications and all that type of stuff too, or is it pretty much just the GPS stuff?
Oh, I forgot for sure. I'm 90% sure the Vivo Fit does not do notifications, but I could be wrong. The other two, the Phoenix 3 and the Epix, are supposed to do the notifications.
Okay.
And I'm only 90% sure on that.
The
So
Vivo Active is pretty much just a fitness tracker.
Basically, yeah. It's a fitness tracker that syncs to the phone. And Limax actually had the Forerunner 205 when he used to do half and full marathons, and that was actually one of the better, more recent ones. It wasn't one of those bricks. I can't even remember the name of the brick. I think it might just be the Forerunner. Big yellow brick. Meanwhile, Nighthawk 700 did let us know that he does have a Pebble, and he uses the various apps on it. So hopefully he'll share with us his experiences and maybe like the next Randomize show, and which apps he's using and what he likes about it, so we can share that with you guys. All right, now the next story here kind of has me a little bit concerned because it's from Engadget about a power pack that can charge your iPhone in 15 minutes, your iPhone 6. And anytime that happens, I get a little nervous. Just I've seen too many of these cables that end up frying. Number of the Ingress crowd back in the early days of Ingress would carry around batteries and or even in the car charger and have the end at the phone explode on them because they were using cheap, terrible cables, and when it was pushing the higher amperage, it actually catch on fire, and a couple of them actually burned off the port from the phone itself. So yeah, these always make me a little nervous, but
Yikes! Yeah.
That's
a
a
long way.
That's like a 5 amp charger, if I recall from the article, and that's a lot of power to go through a little device.
Yeah, it's a 20 volt 2 amp power pack, so it's got some serious horsepower behind it, and it comes in two different flavors: 5600 and 11200 milliamp hours. No word on the pricing yet. Well, as of this article, which was almost a month ago, but it's from iBats. So if you're looking for something that's going to charge your phone quickly, give it a shot. We've got it in the show notes there, and we're going to see more and more of these things coming out. But right now, this is the only one that I've seen actually shipping in its own standalone battery type unit. Everything else has been the wall chargers, and a lot of the Android guys have really jumped on this rapid charging stuff. So make sure, if you're going to do it, make sure that your cable is going to support the rapid charging so that you don't run into the issues with the burned ports, though I couldn't tell you what makes the difference and how to look for it.
Well, some of these new big slate phones, like the iPhone 6 Plus, are big enough that if you're going to charge it that way, you may as well put eggs and bacon on the screen and cook breakfast at the same time.
Yeah, that might not be a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
But if the port blows and fries it, then you have no source of heat anymore.
Good point.
And Limax says that he can't really imagine the current load on that battery. So yeah, that thing's got some horsepower. Well, on a different note, have you guys seen the little lithium-ion power packs that are supposed to charge you or to jumpstart your car?
I was thinking of that exact thing with this battery pack. I go, that's more than 12 volts. That could jumpstart your car.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a bunch of them that are doing exactly that. Now, from what I understand, they're only good for like one jump start, but just the thought of having that on there is pretty impressive. But I'm wondering, if it's got that 12 volt output, could I put a cigarette lighter adapter on there or something like that to actually run some of the car accessories?
You could, but most of the time you're converting DC from 12 down to 5 to run, like say if you put a cigarette lighter adapter on there to power something USB-like, where that's an ineffective use of that battery. So,
I'm not
yes,
sure how
could.
You lose a lot in conversion.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm thinking, that might be kind of fun to have like the one of those little coolers for the car that's powered. The little
there you go.
That could be fun.
Carried around with a battery pack running it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Native Texan wants to cook bacon on her phone, apparently. She says,
Big.
One of the benefits of that being able to jump your car, though, I know when I lived in Canada and winter was an actual thing. We used to carry these little, they're portable, but they're basically portable car batteries to keep in your trunk and keep them charged. So when you do get stranded, you have something you can jump your car with. So having that in a small little form factor that also has other uses like charging your phone could actually, I could see if it actually does jump your car, I could definitely see carrying that around because it'd be much lighter than that bulky thing you keep in your trunk. So if it does do it, that could definitely see some benefits for people in the northern climates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I've noticed that some of the more recent jump packs, I think, which is a brand name, but the big, bulky things that you carry around have started switching off the lead acid and started going to the lithium ions, which I always thought was not such a good idea since the lithium ions don't have the shelf life that a lead acid does. But I'm wondering if that's actually changed now since so many of these guys are doing that. It has lead acid batteries.
They're much
lead
easier
acid
to
hasn't really
charge.
improved. Yeah, they're much easier to recharge. They're much lighter, and they're more efficient if you charge them and use them right away. So maybe that's all it takes to make people switch. They've also come down in cost, but the lithium ions keep improving, and lead acids has stayed basically where it is.
Yes. I can't argue with that.
Yeah, I really don't know because it's something I've just noticed in the last few months and haven't really looked into at all. But yeah, I have the feeling we might be looking at a future in the not so distant future.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that was a bad sentence. Where we actually have lithium-ion batteries in the car instead of the lead-acid batteries.
Wait, are you from the future? Coming back to stop John Connor?
No, I'm from the past coming to the future to tell people what just happened.
Okay.
Wait, where's my hoverboard?
Don't worry, it's not
They-
over.
they-
2015 isn't over yet.
Yeah, true.
No, but
Well-
it's out in California, isn't it, that they're doing the hoverboards?
Yeah,
Ooh.
there is one, I think.
Yeah, they're a little bit tricky because they only work on metal surfaces, though.
Yeah, it's like $100,000 for one or something like that.
Is that all?
but if you can get one, the movie was true.
There you go.
That's
Yep.
all we're looking for.
Exactly. Native Texan actually said that her son has a Pebble that she got him for Christmas, but he won't let her put anything on it. Has anyone else here had experience with a Pebble?
Do you think that's a Pebble watch or just a little stone she got him?
I thought it was just a little stone.
Okay.
She used like duct tape to
Yeah,
strap it
exactly.
on his wrist.
That's why he won't let her put anything on it.
Right, he doesn't
Too
want
heavy.
any more on his wrist. I totally sympathize.
Wait, can you brick a Pebble?
Yes.
No, because it's already a stone.
Okay.
There's just need more duct tape.
Oh, just more duct tape. Okay.
Okay, how far off the rails can we get with this topic? Can we try? No, but I get the Pebble, and I can certainly understand not wanting to put anything on it because it's only supposed to allow, I think, 8 apps, and if I put 7 on, it gets flaky.
Really? Is
Yeah.
it flaky because it's running out of memory, or is it
I
the
believe
battery to keep it
so.
running?
No, it's not the battery to keep it running. I think it's a memory issue because it does also seem to depend on which apps I put on it. But I'm not sure that my Pebble isn't flaky in general, so I'm thinking it might be time to exchange it.
So, what is battery life on the Pebble like in day-to-day use?
I go full day and only run it down to about 50%, and it's over a year old.
Okay.
It's not bad.
No, it's a really good, long-lived watch. I've really enjoyed having it. That said, I don't know that I'd really recommend it at the $150, but now that it's down to $100, yeah, it's a fun toy that I could definitely recommend to techies who want that kind of stuff. And like up here, when I'm walking the dog in the cold, I don't want to have to go digging for my phone to find out who just texted me. So it gives me that real quick, oh yeah, this is something I can ignore right now. I can deal with it when I get back home.
Interesting. And does it work with gloves?
Well, yes, because there's no touch screen.
There's no
and it's all
touchscreen.
buttons.
I said, and as soon as I said that, I knew.
Yeah.
But for the listener out there who doesn't know and hasn't seen a Pebble, there.
Yeah. Exactly. I think we're all laughing at the same thing, which is Wet Coaster's comments. So I'll give you the honors of reading that, Chris.
Wet Coaster wants to know: do you get gravel from a flaky pebble? I think it's actually more sand than gravel.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
But that's hilarious.
Yeah. Lots of good jokes to be made about the Pebble. But I really do like the Pebble because it is that simple, and I think that there is going to be a place, at least for a little while, for those kind of smart watches. Down the road, hopefully, tech will get better and cheaper, so the touch screens will work better with gloves, and probably not even use gloves. They might not even be touch screens. They might be using the cameras instead. So who knows where we're going to end up?
Who knows?
But until we get something that's much more power efficient with the color and everything, it's not e-ink. I can't remember what they're using. There's a couple of different technology. No, there's a couple of different technologies. The e-ink is the one that only uses power when it changes.
Right.
And it's less responsive. Then there's this other one that's a low power LCD is the way that it was described to me, even though that's not exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is still always on. You always have to have the power on to drive the screen, and it is more responsive than e-ink, but not as responsive as like an LCD would be. So this is somewhere in between and has much better power footprint than does even a black and white LCD.
And speaking of power, Daryl, we need to talk to our guest tonight to see what power he leveraged to win this contest of the interwebs.
Yes.
How'd you like that segue? Did that work?
That worked really well, I think. Yeah, well, obviously, I'm sure many of the viewers know of the Michelin Quest that started. Oh, that was late last fall, wasn't it?
I was going to say, give us a quick overview if somebody missed it.
Sure. Well, basically, Michelin USA, and geocaching.com joined together to promote Michelin turning. Oh, I should know this. I think it's 150 years. I could be wrong. But basically, there was a photo contest, and you needed to take a picture with these trackables that they sent out. And out of all those pictures, 10 were chosen. I was one of the 10. And then out of the 10, who each received a set of tires for $1,000 total, there was a grand prize winner, and how that was chosen is basically they put the 10 finalists on the Michelin USA Facebook page, and the most likes on the picture won it. So I had to use a lot of power, social media power, to get the 635 winning likes that made me the finalist, the grand prize winner.
So how did you go about getting these likes? Did you leverage your current social media?
Exactly.
And bribe your friends?
Friends, family, we bribed everybody I could possibly reach out to, and multiple times during that week. And I was doing Instagram pictures 2 to 3 times a day, and Twitter multiple times per day, just to kind of get the message out there. And I tell you what, it was actually between my picture and another picture. It was a really pretty close race, so that's why I was pushing it so hard in the end.
Yeah, I was very happy to have at least three of the GeoGearHeads.
Yes.
I think there was actually more than that as the 10 finalists for that. One of them is going to be on the show in a couple of weeks, actually, too.
Awesome. Yeah, I know Dano from Team Pugach was one of the finalists.
Yeah, and 2E Tango was another one of our listeners. Then I think a couple of the other ones were, but I'm not sure that they're still listeners, so I'm not going to call them out if they're not.
but they all were really good pictures. It was tough, obviously, for them to decide to the. I think that totally they had over 1,000 submissions, so there's a lot of their pictures they had to go through. But then the top 10 were they're all really good. So I was just.
And they contacted a number of the people who didn't win but had photos that they liked.
Yes.
Requesting higher quality versions, higher resolution versions. So I know some of our listeners who were not in that top 10 have also received those, and there's at least 2 of my photos that should be appearing in that video when they do that.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to that video just to see all of the better Michelin Men photos, or
Mhm.
Michelin Quest photos. Well, gentlemen, I think we're kind of wrapping up our normal randomized show. Are you guys able to hang out and do another one of these just for the patrons with some little bit less geocaching related stuffs?
Of course, if I'm invited to join, I will definitely stick around.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we do want to thank our patrons. So if you're going to be listening to us live or watching us live and you're a patron, watch your feed. About 10 minutes after we wrap up this show, we'll have another one. And if it weren't for you guys, we wouldn't be able to keep these shows going, because you're the guys who keep all of this happening through your financial support. We really, really thank you for all of that. And you get these bonus shows every so often. You get the picks of the week that, well, almost every week, Chris or I will put out there one of the items that we use, geocaching related or not. And it's a lot of fun, of course, and we really do appreciate you guys. Hopefully, we'll be getting another one of the patron hangouts going before too long, but it's been crazy over here, and I know, Chris, it's been crazy for you, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, we promise we'll get one as soon as things calm down, and we can actually pick a date when we can sit down and do it again.
Yes, definitely. And yeah, it's been crazy. But you know what? Both the gentlemen started off this show saying that they answered correctly last week's question, and but didn't win. So guess what? You remember how I mentioned also at the beginning of the show how generous Daryl is? Well, he's doing it again. So there's going to be another question. This week's question, or should I say next week's question? We're asking it now. We're answering it then. It's that whole time travel thing. I'm still confused. So what you need to do, and gentlemen, you're listening to this podcast, you're more than welcome to go ahead, get an email ready. We want to put subject, question 140, or I'm sorry, that's way off, because, again, time travel. In the subject line, put question 163. That's 163. And send that to GeoGearHeads@CacheManiacs.com. Now, here's what you need to answer. What cipher is used by geocaching.com, according to the cache page, to encrypt the hint? So do we have that? What cipher is used by geocaching.com, according to the webpage, to encrypt the hint? Send that correct answer in an email with your geocaching screen name to GeoGearHeads@CacheManiacs.com. That has to be to us by February 11th. We got that? So that's 6 p.m. Pacific time on the 11th, 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, and we have to thank coinsandpins.com for donating that gift, and for donating our live gift, plus the one that we gave away this time. So we did have that live winner this time. So everyone who's watching right now, and thank you for watching, this is someone who I have not seen an entry from before, so this is really cool. The Fez. I'm probably totally pronouncing that wrong, but the Fez.
Oh, I know. That's the Duffys.
Oh!
He's one of my buddies from Ontario.
Excellent. Well, they got the really, really cool CompassRose.com is where you can find this.
Nice.
CompassRoseGeocoin.com or coinsandpins.com. The Nocturnal Geocoin. This thing is so cool. I want one of these things for my shelf, too.
Well, we were mentioning about what to do when your car dies. So if your car dies and your GPS is dead, you should have a coin like this in your trunk so that you can actually navigate with it should you run out of battery whatsoever, in any form of battery, you could navigate with this coin and get yourself to safety.
Sure,
Like
as long as you can
7-Eleven on
actually
the corner
get to
or
safety.
something.
Actually, I'm not sure if that's actually a navigation coin or not. Now I'm wondering. It's so cool. Okay, so the Defez, don't send the email or don't send your mailing address because I want to keep it, and then we'll have the excuse that you never got back with us.
Ooh.
Can I do that?
No.
No.
No, you don't let me do that. I'm not going to let you do that, Daryl.
Well, I guess
I'm
I could
holding
just
you
let
to a higher standard today.
Yeah, maybe I'll just head over to Coins and Pins and buy one. Oh well.
Okay. So, speaking of the higher standard that we always hold Daryl to, some of those higher standards is getting great guests for the upcoming shows. February 12th, that's just next week, and that's 2 days before Valentine's Day, gentlemen. If you don't have your candy or flowers by then, you're pretty much out of luck. So by next week's show, get all that Valentine's Day shopping done because you're going to want to sit and listen about ciphers. February 19th, again, too late to buy anything for Valentine's Day. Now it's going to cost you a lot more money trying to make up. That's going to be Puzzles Q&A. We're doing number 1 there. February 26th, we're talking with Dano of Team Pugach about bicycle maintenance, and I don't think he's going to have are going to be able to get his bicycle out because there'll still be 16 feet of snow on the East Coast. March 9th, we're talking with project-gc.com. Again, they're coming back. Great product. You want to learn about some of the things it can do. March 12th, we're doing our Randomize 32 episode. Again, another live prize drawing. You're going to want to be there.
Check the Cashmaniacs website at cashmaniacs.com for more on the GeoGearHeads, including show notes for this and all of our episodes. We love hearing from our listeners, so leave us feedback by calling 206-350-3647, by emailing geogearheads@cashmaniacs.com, or through social media. Your support helps keep the Cashmaniacs shows coming. Please consider becoming a patron through the link on our website to support the Cashmaniacs shows. GeoGearHeads is produced by Chris Offenauer and Daryl Wanberg. This show is copyright 2015 by Daryl Wanberg. All rights reserved.
Guess we're the Cashmaniacs.